The group of emerging economies known as BRICS, where the acronym stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is actively seeking to challenge dollar hegemony. As these countries rise in economic, political, and military power, their efforts to challenge the dollar's supremacy could have far-reaching implications for the global financial system. Hello everyone and welcome back to Mir Media. In this video, we're going to cover what BRICS is, why BRICS nations are unsatisfied with the current global financial system, and how they're trying to challenge the hegemony of the US dollar. Before we proceed, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, could I please request that you do so? We're a team that's working really hard to bring you these videos, and we need to reach 1,000 subscribers so YouTube will allow us to monetize our channel. Your support means everything to us, even if it's free. Now, without further ado, let's dive in. In 2001, Jim O'Neill coined the acronym BRIC to represent the emerging economies of Brazil, Russia, India, and China. O'Neill predicted that these countries would experience significant economic growth, surpassing the G7 or Group of Seven nations in the coming decades. The inclusion of South Africa in 2010 expanded the group to BRICS. BRICS countries, which represent a significant portion of the world's population and landmass, have positioned themselves as an alternative financial forum to established international institutions like the G7. BRICS leaders began meeting informally in 2006 and met for their first formal summit in 2009. In 2012, they discussed the establishment of a new development bank to finance infrastructure and sustainable development projects within the BRICS countries. The bank, which was officially founded in 2014, has an authorized capital base of $100 billion and is headquartered in Shanghai, China. NDB is a multilateral development bank, which means that it is owned by its member countries, giving it a strong mandate to promote development and cooperation among its members. It focuses on financing projects in emerging markets and developing countries to help bridge the gap between the rich and poor countries of the world. Despite high initial growth projections, BRICS economies face setbacks due to the financial crisis of 2008 and the collapse of oil prices in 2014. Economic growth in China has also slowed down considerably in recent years, while Brazil has been rocked by corruption scandals and Russia has been sanctioned by Western powers for its aggressive behavior towards its neighboring countries. BRICS cooperation, however, extends beyond economic matters. The countries in the bloc have collaborated in many fields including technology, science, arts and culture, and the 2017 BRICS Film Festival in China showcased Indian films like Bahubali: The Beginning, which received acclaim and financial success in the Chinese market. BRICS countries have also been working on expanding their political and military influence by actively pursuing strategic partnerships, engaging in multilateral forums, and establishing alternative institutions like the New Development Bank that illustrate their collective ambition to challenge the existing global order, which is dominated by the West. In recent years, the BRICS bloc has garnered renewed international interest due to its divergence from the West, especially concerning sanctions against Russia. The US and the EU imposed strict sanctions on Russia in response to the Russia-Ukraine war, but BRICS countries have distanced themselves from these measures and are instead increasing how much they trade with the country. China is also leveraging the BRICS platform to pursue its global political ambitions. It has offered to mediate the conflict in Ukraine, presenting itself as an alternative power center, while its joint military exercises with Russia in South Africa underscores alignment with Russia and its desire to strengthen its own image on the global stage. Russia, on the other hand, has been advocating for the creation of a joint currency for BRICS as a means to challenge the dominance of the US dollar. This advocacy stems out of BRICS countries increasing dissatisfaction with the existing global financial system and its heavy reliance on the dollar, as this grants the US some unique advantages, including the ability to print the world's primary reserve currency and influence global financial markets. They see it as an unequal structure that disproportionately favors the US, limiting their autonomy and subjecting them to the fluctuations of the US economy and monetary policy, and leaving them at the mercy of America and its imposed sanctions. By reducing the dominance of the dollar, BRICS nations believe that they will better be able to assert their economic and geopolitical influence while promoting a more multipolar and inclusive global financial order. You can learn more about the dollar and its future in this video on the screen here. Despite this, a joint BRICS currency is highly unlikely for several reasons. For one, BRICS countries have different economic conditions. China, for example, has a high savings rate and a large manufacturing sector, while Brazil has a high debt-to-GDP ratio and a large agricultural sector. This makes it difficult to agree on a common exchange rate for a joint currency. 2. Some of the BRICS countries such as Brazil and South Africa have experienced political instability in recent years, which makes it difficult to build trust and cooperation between members of the bloc. And 3. BRICS countries simply don't trade with each other as much as they trade with the US and the EU, so there is little demand for a joint BRICS currency to begin with. So while a joint BRICS currency seems highly unlikely, countries in the bloc have also taken several other measures to challenge dollar hegemony. They're actively promoting trade and investment amongst themselves in local currencies, reducing their exposure to the US dollar, and promoting the use of alternative financial messaging systems such as the CIPS or China International Payment System. These systems are not subject to the same US sanctions as the SWIFT, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications System, which is a dominant financial messaging system in the world. BRICS countries have also established a new development bank and have called for a new global financial architecture that is more equitable and inclusive and less reliant on the US dollar, the IMF, and the World Bank. These and other steps by BRICS countries aim to enhance their economic resilience, increase their bargaining power, and create a more multipolar global financial system that is less dominated by the US dollar. While, as we already discussed, a BRICS currency seems unlikely, plans for the digital circulation of a BRICS currency are nevertheless expected to be on the agenda of the upcoming BRICS meeting in Durban, South Africa in August. The bloc also plans to discuss ways to boost trade and investment between member countries, how to combat terrorism, cybercrime, and other transnational threats, and how to promote development in Africa and other developing countries. BRICS countries clearly haven't been able to achieve all of their goals in the past, as the US dollar remains the dominant currency in global trade, and the IMF and the World Bank remain the dominant international financial institutions. Nevertheless, BRICS countries have made some progress in challenging dollar hegemony and are likely to continue to do so in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for staying with us till the end. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again in the next video.